Yo, what is going on YouTube? I am Germ here. So all the talk recently has of course been about the LEC, the crazy moves, rumors, offseason that they are having, and about Worlds, because Worlds is still ongoing. We still have a whole nother week of this thing. The semifinals were really crazy fun and exciting this weekend, but today I did want to do the LCS a little justice as well. There's not as much news, as many rumors, or as much going on right now, but there is some things in the LCS starting to pop up, and today I wanted to mostly talk about CLOUD9, and maybe them hinting at some craziness to be coming very soon, and what those potential moves could possibly be. But first, a word from today's sponsor, which is of course Prize Picks. This is daily fantasy made easy. All you got to do is select more or less on props that are based around your favorite players, in the sports and esports that you already watch and already follow and already know a ton about, because you watch and follow them so closely and so regularly and all this stuff. And it's just that simple, like in League of Legends esports, they'll have a player and it'll be like kills or deaths or assists, and you just got to pick more or less than the number that they have on the board for certain players. And hey, if you're right, you can win some prizes. It's really that simple and easy. And if you get signed up on Prize Picks today using the first link in the description below, they're actually going to match the first deposit for new users up to $100. You can play on the website prizepicks.com. You can get in the Apple App Store or in the Google Play Store today. And like I said, if you check out that first link in the description below, it does help support me, my channel, and my content. So I would appreciate that a ton. With that being said, let's get right into today's video. And first up, I thought that this article was very interesting. Somebody sent me this and said, hey, you might want to take a look at this. This maybe has some info for a video, maybe some stuff you can talk about. And I did appreciate that. And I always do, appreciate when you guys send me stuff, because I do my best to see everything that's going on out there. But, it's not always possible to see everything. Sometimes stuff flies under the radar. And I actually thought that this one was something that I did wish I would have seen, but didn't. This never came across my radar. Jack Etienne, I think is how you say it, says CLOUD9 will double down on investments in big esport titles. And this is from just a couple of days ago, 28th of October. For some reason, it seemed like that was way further ago. I don't know why I have like the days and the months and everything so mixed up right now. But, let me see if I can find the part. There's no time to stand still in esports, and Etienne has a clear vision for Cloud9's future. As a company, we're going in a great direction. He talks about how they brought in, Trisha from FlyQuest, all this stuff. And he says, there has been a lot of teams that are cutting their budgets in top esports programs. Maybe they're trying to diversify with other things, he explained. I'm doing the opposite. We're honing ourselves to be really involved in the top esports that are out there. You're going to see us focus more on League, focus more on Valorant, focus more on CSGO. Although there are whispers of many LCS teams cutting their budget significantly, Jack said that C9 would remain faithful to the program. We will double down on our investment in those games. I really want to tighten up those programs, because I think those are the games to be involved with. As to what this means for the future of Cloud9's other esport divisions, Jack said, he didn't want to give a concrete answer. That will remain to be seen. So this is very interesting, because again, we do know that many teams have talked about downsizing, cutting back, spending less money, especially in the LCS. Not only because like esports winter is going on, not only because we're having some rough, kind of global financial troubles and all this stuff, and economic issues globally, and inflation and yada, but also because the future of the LCS is a little bit up in the air, and people don't know really exactly what's going on and all this stuff. But Jack is in a spot where he is very comfortable, and the fact that he can be comfortable in doubling down on his investments, and hopefully not having to cut back on a bunch of spending, if any, if maybe even spending more, at a time where TL is going to be cutting back, and TSM sounds like they're not going to be as aggressive as they once were, and that's going to be a really big opportunity. And you could start to see C9 really do some big things in all of esports, but specifically in the League of Legends space, obviously what we're talking about today. We also had Jack tweeting out this. This is from October 30th of 2022. He tweeted out just, him and the fire emoji, or not emoji, but him in the fire background. And this is this thing. This doesn't always mean LCS news. It's, he's involved in a lot of esports. He has a lot of stuff going on. It's just news in general. But usually when he tweets this stuff out, it's sometimes he's memeing, sometimes joking, sometimes baiting, whatever, but it's usually, hey, something's in the works. They're cooking something up. And it says ×2, and I think that's kind of interesting. What exactly does this mean? Does this mean they have 2 acquisitions coming, 2 moves to be made? And we start to look at the C9 roster right now. If 2 moves were to be made, who is that going to be? People look at the roster right now where you have Fudge, Blabber, Jensen, Berserker, and Sven, and obviously Sven stands out as the easiest one to see moving on. Sven, even after they won the LCS finals, he wasn't necessarily ready to say that he is a support, not necessarily ready to say he wants to play support next year or anything like that. Seems like he does want to still play AD carry. Seems like his ideal world is playing AD carry on a team that has a chance to go to Worlds in North America. Now, does that team exist? Does that team want him? Are they going to be able to get something done? I don't know. And then will he maybe lower his expectations at some point and go play AD carry for a team that maybe is going to be a little bit more of an uphill battle or something like that? Who knows? I don't know. It's going to depend what Sven wants. But then even if you're just Cloud9, even if, say, the world where Sven did still want to play support, I think you would likely be still looking for another support. People have been saying, hey, Core JJ is out there. And there's a lot of good young supports coming up. And maybe you could even look after like a Korean, like a different Korean support other than Core JJ to potentially pair up with Berserker and all this kind of stuff. And I think it makes a lot of sense. But then you start looking at who the other options could be. If we're saying ×2, if 2 moves are going down here, then who's that going to be? Blabber does seem to be kind of the franchise player for Cloud9. I don't really see too much stuff going on there. In the past, Fudge has also, C9 has put a lot of effort into content and building him up and kind of making him their franchise player in a way as well. I know people were a little bit down on his Worlds performance. I don't know exactly where Fudge's mental is at right now. I don't know how Cloud9 feels about all that, but I still do think that he's one of the better top laners in the LCS, and he's native, so I don't necessarily see why they would get rid of Fudge unless Fudge wants to leave or something like that, but I don't really see that happening either. I think I see Blabber and Fudge is pretty much locked in at that point. Jensen could be interesting. He's getting up there in esports age, especially. I think he's like 27, 28, something like that. Jensen wasn't necessarily that insane during this year. He was like a kind of a middle of the pack LCS mid laner overall. I felt like really even in the playoffs and all that stuff, wasn't really like he was all that insane. But say they were going to move Jensen, who would they be able to get in the mid lane? Who would even their options be? It's hard to figure out exactly who that would be. You'd look at big imports, maybe like a Humanoid, a VTO, guys like that. But, I haven't heard necessarily anything about C9 VTO. And I think even when VTO was here, the rumors were that, maybe like TSM, TL, some of these teams were talking to him, but nobody really ever said anything about Cloud9. But that doesn't mean it couldn't be happening. I know some people have said, hey, Humanoid's probably going to stay in Fnatic. But then I do wonder, could Berserker potentially be getting changed? Obviously not them kicking Berserker, getting rid of Berserker, anything like that. This would be Berserker wanting to leave. Berserker did have an interview with Ashley Kang before World started where he said, hey, I like North America. I'm in North America for now, but I don't see myself being here forever. I don't see myself retiring in North America. I still want to play in the LCK at some point. Now, in that interview, again, before World, he did say, hey, I'll probably be in North America for at least one more year. He was giving them 2023. But then obviously Worlds didn't go all that great. C9 goes 0-3. C9 ends up going 1-5, I believe. And now Korea is doing really, really well at Worlds. Korea has 3 of the 4 teams in the semifinals. Korea has both the teams in the World Finals. T1 is in the World Final. T1 is maybe about to win a world title. And Berserker, he was in T1. And yeah, he probably wasn't ever going to become the starter for T1 because Gumayusi's doing pretty damn good. And he was going to be a really hard guy to overtake. But, Berserker was right behind him. And he could have ended up at another top team. He could have very easily been on one of the other like top 4, 5, 6 teams in the LCK and been in a spot. DRX is a team that was kind of a middle of the pack LCK team overall. And now they have a chance to win a world title. Maybe this is kind of hurting their chances on keeping Berserker in the long run. Who knows? Maybe that could even end up with Sven going back to AD carry and somebody new coming in. People have also speculated that maybe the X2 is a double lift like meme or reference or something like that, and maybe they're looking to bring back like a double lift Core JJ bot lane if Sven and Berserker are the 2 going. I don't know, just kind of some interesting stuff going on. But I am as an LCS fan, I am really, really happy and excited to see Jack say that they are, not having to budget cut and they are kind of doubling down on League and on the LCS. I think that's very, very cool. And apparently X2, 2 moves, double. I don't know. Jack's cooking up something. He's got some fire going on. We'll have to see what that means. But yeah, that's pretty much it for this video today, guys. Check out the first link in the description below for prize picks. Hopefully catch you in the next one. But until then, peace.